Hello, all you beautiful people out there. I am Goose, and this is On With the Show. And today's topic is something that just came over the wire, I think, within the last day or so. And it's about Jillian Michaels and how she's being portrayed in the new Netflix documentary about The Biggest Loser. I'm going to go into it in just a little bit. But if you haven't already, go down. Subscribe to the channel. Bang the bell for notifications. Bang, bang, bang the bell for notifications. So you always know when new videos are uploaded. And give me a big like on the video because it does help me with the algorithm. And yes, let's get into it today. This is from USA Today. Jillian Michaels breaks silence on Biggest Loser Netflix doc. Co-star Bob Harper. This is written by Jay Saul of USA Today. Updated August 19th, 2025. And the article goes on to say Jillian Michaels is slamming Netflix's docuseries about The Biggest Loser and is showing the receipts to back it up. The celebrity fitness trainer took to Instagram on August 19th in a series of posts to slam claims from Fit for TV, the reality of The Biggest Loser, which is now streaming, which gave former fans a second course of the small moments and big missteps from NBC's 18-season competition series that aired from 2004 to 2016. Though many lost weight throughout the series, the tactics at times posed a risk to participants and their esteem. Tracy Yukich, I hope I'm saying that right, suffered a near-death experience during a challenge to kick off season 8. Michaels supplied some contestants with caffeine pills, though caffeine was banned by the show's physician, Robert Huizenga. The competitors were asked to participate in sometimes humiliating temptation challenges when they were enticed by high-calorie treats or building towers made of bread using their mouths. In a series of lengthy statements, Michaels took aim at a range of allegations about her, including one that she said, "You're going to make me a millionaire," to a contestant, a claim she said is false, plied contestants with caffeine pills, and encouraged calorie restriction. With respect to the allegation that I restricted contestants from eating enough calories, I have an example of a direct written correspondence with a contestant while she was home for the holidays during filming, in which I explicitly instructed her to consume 1,600 calories per day, Michaels said in one Instagram caption. She continued, additionally, the two other emails posted here are standard communications with the show's producers and medical staff, emphasizing the ongoing priority of ensuring contestants were adequately nourished and the need to provide a steady supply of fresh food in the Biggest Loser house to guarantee ready access to calories. Michaels, who said that caffeine was never banned on the show, added that the show's medical advisor, Dr. Robert Huizenga, did approve caffeine pills on many seasons of The Biggest Loser. The trainer-turned-conservative commentator added that Bob Harper not only knew about the caffeine pills, the Stackers fat burner were actually his suggestion. I wanted to use my brand instead because they were cleaner and had more than 200 milligrams of caffeine. Both Harper and Huizenga appear in the documentary while Michaels did not. On social media, Michaels also spoke about rampant speculation surrounding her relationship with former co-star Harper. In a screenshot shared in one carousel, Michaels said that the last image is my second to last text ever to Bob Harper. Take from it what you will. The message from The message from Michaels to Harper allegedly said, "I really think it's bad of you to not even respond to my texts. It's this kind of thing that always makes me so disappointed in our relationship." So apparently, I guess right now, and I will admit, for one thing, I have not seen the documentary. I don't have Netflix. I've been trying to find clips of it to get a better perspective. I've seen some things that have been said about it, but I haven't seen the documentary myself. And here's the thing about documentaries. it all depends on who is the one telling the story in the documentary. Sometimes certain documentaries can be bent in a certain way where basically they want you to think a certain thing, a certain direction, so they can change your mind on something. Um, One of the most famous, a couple of the most famous documentaries that I have seen, one, of course, is Super Size Me. And I didn't think about it at first when I first saw it, because I thought it was basically, at that time it was a take on the fast food industry. But as I talked to some friends of mine, they pointed out that yes, Morgan Spurlock very much intentionally made it a hit piece on McDonald's. Um, Now, why McDonald's? Well, because McDonald's itself is probably the fast food chain of anywhere, right? Um, you can go throughout the United States, you're going to pretty much get the same food. You go to different places in the world, you see a McDonald's, you might get something a little different that bends towards the place of where it's at. But, McDonald's is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fast food chains in the world. And so I think for Morgan Spurlock to totally just focus on McDonald's and what McDonald's fed you and how they marketed to you and how they were aimed for kids. Yeah, that's was kind of the purpose of what McDonald's was doing. They know very well, that in their Happy Meals, if you get the kids, you get the adults. And throughout the years, McDonald's has always changed. They've always have adapted to things, especially in certain areas of the United States. And so there are times where maybe you might find one item in a particular area of the United States and you won't find it in another area. Going, just very, very quickly about that. But it became obvious as I saw it a second and a third and a fourth time. Yeah, he's really making this all about McDonald's, and the super size that they were advertising on people at the time. And of course, you said you want to supersize it, and of course you say yes, and you get this huge meal. And granted, I mean, it's a lot of food. When they supersized, they supersized. They gave you a lot of food. But of course, now we know that after his death, he wasn't entirely truthful about Super Size Me. That there were certain things going on within his body. Apparently, we now know that he was a very heavy drinker, and so anything that he'd done medically is going to be kind of skewed because of his drinking. So how much of it can we actually find of it as fact? That's the big question now, because now that we know some of the things that were actually going on, we can now step back, take another look at it, and go, oh, quite possibly, he wasn't entirely telling the truth in Super Size Me. Now, again, I have a lot of respect for Morgan Spurlock and what he was trying to do, but yeah, there are times where a documentarian will try to skew your opinion and your view in a certain direction. To basically follow with what they're doing. And at the same time, if you remember the documentary Blackfish, this was entirely about the killer whales at SeaWorld and how they were being poorly treated, poorly kept, how one of them killed one of the trainers, and certain things that were going on. This was also, I think, in a way, it was an attack on SeaWorld. It was an attack on SeaWorld. Now, as far as I know, and again, I'm not an oceanographer. I haven't studied oceanography. I don't know anything about all that stuff. What I will say is that what I've been told is that when you take a captive animal and you put them back in the wild, they have no clue what to do. Because they have been so trained to be fed by their humans every day. That's why they go up there and they do their tricks, and they know they're going, because they know if they do their tricks, they're going to get fed. They're going to get a treat. And so that's the whole thing with Blackfish. Do I think there might have been some abuse going on? I definitely think that, in my opinion, from one of the documentaries that I saw, that quite possibly these killer whales may or may not have been fully treated well. When they kept saying that, look at the dorsal fin, it's flopped over. That's a sign of neglect. I don't know. Again, I'm not an oceanographer. I'm not an expert at the thing. But when you first see it, you're like, oh, what in the world's going on? And so I think that's one of the reasons why SeaWorld, I don't know if they can continue to do their killer whale shows or if they have stopped doing killer whale shows. I love orcas. I grew up I had something go. There was a park near us growing up called Marine World Africa USA, and they would have a killer whale show. And I was always fascinated with killer whales. And of course, they had the seals and the dolphins, and they even had a water ski show, which I was always fascinated. It was kind of like, part aquarium, part zoo, part stage show. They didn't have any of the big throw rides. They moved it from Redwood Shores up on the Bay Area Peninsula over to Vallejo, which I think is now called Discovery Kingdom. I don't know if they still have a lot of the shows going on today as they had before. I am looking forward to hopefully going back to Discovery Kingdom because it'll probably bring back a lot of really good memories for me. But going back to what I was talking about, the documentary, it was meant to kind of show you what was going on and how the killer whales were being treated, and possibly maybe we should shut down something like this. My only concern was, and I said this at the time, is if you shut down the shows and you just keep them in this tank, because you can't put them out in the wild, and you have one particular killer whale who's more aggressive than others. How do you isolate that? It's like it became more of a thing for me because it's like, again, you can't put them back out in the wild. They're not going to survive. And if they're not being treated well, domestically, then what do we do? Because therein lies the issue. But I think that Blackfish was definitely trying to point out something going on with SeaWorld and its treatment of the killer whales and try to get that all shut down. As far as I know right now, it's succeeded. I would like to eventually see a killer whale show again, because again, I find they're very fascinating mammals. But going back to this, is basically that's the core of it. I think that the Netflix decided they wanted to have a show it was going to be most of a hit piece against Jillian Michaels. Let's be honest right up front. Jillian Michaels has been a lightning rod, in the media for the last few years. That has made her a target politically for certain people because she's not politically correct anymore. That's what a lot of people say. She's kind of been red-pilled, and she's looking back going, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And she's even very confrontational now to a lot of these people, basically saying, yeah, don't just throw this out there and think that you're not going to get any feedback from it. But it definitely sounds like that what they were looking for is they're looking for the bad guy. They're looking for someone to blame. They're looking for she did this and it was not approved and she shouldn't have done this and it was allegedly said that, you're going to make me a millionaire. And she's like, hey, we were all mic'd up. There's no way I would have ever said that. Let me show you a video that was done by Entertainment Tonight to give you an idea of what might be the underlying thing here.
Honestly, it's just filled with so many lies.
Jillian had no practical knowledge of medicine. People will do a lot of things to win.
Go! Please.
Please what?
2 words for Jillian's reaction to the doc: scorched earth. She's lawyered up, hiring the attorney Justin Baldoni is using in the It Ends With Us lawsuit, Brian Friedman, telling TMZ she's taking aim at Netflix, former friend Bob Harper, and Dr. Robert Huizinga, and she's bringing receipts.
do we pursue this legally? Do I just do a data dump? At no point was caffeine banned from the show.
Jillian claims this email with Bob and Dr. Huizinga's assistant shows they were aware caffeine pills would be distributed to contestants, which they denied in the doc and with ET.
Her contestants were using the caffeine pills. You had no idea that that was going on?
No, I had no idea.
No caffeine pills were allowed.
As for this claim,
They said, Ryan, there's blood in your urine, which is obviously means you're so dehydrated. She gives me a big hug and she says, Ryan, you just made me a millionaire.
Sounds like Jillian Michaels.
Jillian shared an alleged text message with the show's producers stating they were both mic'd and, quote, no one is aware of any recording capturing such a comment. But what about Jillian and Bob's falling out?
After I had my heart attack, she's the one person I never heard from. I've talked to her in many, many years.
Oh, wow. So you guys have not spoken in years? How long?
I mean, it's been, God, more than 10 years, I guess?
Jillian shared one of their last text exchanges, claiming he was the one who stopped replying to her.
That's all I can tell you is it's always been like this. He'll be saying negative things about me. And it was a very long and complex relationship. I can't even really honestly tell you why. All I can do is show you, like, look at the documentary, and that is what I lived with the entire time.
Shut the up! Just do it! Just stop talking and do it!
There has been no comment from Netflix, Bob, or Dr. Huizinga about Jillian's claims, but America sure seems to be hungry for the drama. Fit for TV, the reality of The Biggest Loser is currently number 2 on Netflix's top TV shows.
Do you have a message for her if she happens to see this?
Have fun watching it.
Yeah, that last comment, I think, says a lot. That it almost feels like it's a hit piece on Jillian Michaels. Have fun watching it. Have fun watching it. And let's all be honest here, because I'm sure that Jillian and Bob were very competitive on the show. I'm sure that that's one of the reasons why they had the weird relationship that they had, because they were always competitive against each other, you know. And again, I kind of find it interesting that she has all of this evidence. She has all these receipts. She has, which is some of the things I have done, you know, when I have certain people that I think could come back to me later and to say, you did this, and I can show all the emails and text messages that I have and be like, no, look at all of this stuff that, you know, in the communications that we had together. So that way it protects you. And I think that's what possibly Jillian Michaels did. I think she saved all this stuff because, you know, who knows, later on something might be said against her down the road. The interesting part that I find is that they claim that she said, you just made me a millionaire. If you're mic'd up, wouldn't you have a copy of that recording? Wouldn't you have a copy of that? Wouldn't you not have that saved somewhere in your files? You know, somewhere that you could bring back up for, like, you know, for like a reunion or an anniversary show or something like that. You know, where you know she said this. I find that rather more confusing, you know, bizarre. I mean, you would think that if she actually said that, then where's the recording of it? Where's the recording of it? And I bring the Entertainment Tonight clip up because I was looking for something to find that would talk more about this controversy. Oops, sorry. This controversy. And apparently, I mean, this was what they have, you know, Bob Harper talking on camera, you know, and, you know, basically him saying, yeah, I had my heart attack and I never heard from her. And then she turns around and says, hey, here are the text messages that I sent you, dude. You know, why are you saying that you never heard from me? I think it's right on the nose that she would sit there and say that they have such a complicated relationship, because I think he was so competitive that when he lost, it was like, I think it got to him. And let me just be absolutely clear here. In today's context, do we know who Bob Harper is? Do we really know who Bob Harper is? Because we know who Jillian Michaels is. She's kept herself pretty relevant. Excuse me. She's kept herself very relevant, whereas, I mean, I hadn't even thought about Bob Harper until all this stuff blew up. There is also one other thing, and I didn't bring this up because it was a 12.5-minute clip from TMZ. So I highly recommend you go to the TMZ's YouTube channel because she does an unedited interview with the TMZ staff. And she brings up a lot of stuff that, that apparently she's got receipts for. She had said over and over again, that caffeine was used and caffeine wasn't used, and then all of a sudden caffeine's not used anymore. And one of the things that she does claim is that they could use caffeine, but she couldn't give it to them. So I guess caffeine could be used, but she just couldn't give it to them. And again, when you watch a documentary, you've got to watch it with a lens of what are they trying to tell me? Are they trying to make someone out to be the bad guy? Are they trying to make, or even a corporation out to be the bad guy? Or are they trying to just basically give you the information that they've dug up on a certain subject? Because it is very easy and I just talked about this when we talked about the Duggars. It's very easy to do a hit piece on somebody. It's very easy to gloss things over that you don't want shown in a documentary or a docuseries. It's very easy to edit things for dramatic effect in a reality television show. It's very easy to edit things for a documentary to skew it to one side or the other. Documentarians are pretty much known for doing that. There are a lot of the ones that have certain subjects that they talk about. But yeah, I find it interesting that she wasn't sure what it is she wanted to do. What does she do? A document dump? Does she do? I think she's very much considering taking them to court for what is it? I don't want to say character assassination, which is probably what it was. But you know what I'm talking about? Is like I think she should take them to court. I think she should take them to court and present all of her evidence, and then make them try to squeeze themselves out of it. Bring in all the witnesses and everything, and try to get them to squeeze themselves out of it. And let's be honest, she sat there and she's like, 1,600 calories. I mean, 2,000 calories is supposed to be a normal human being's calorie count. But a lot of times we all know we eat more than 2,000 calories. And she said, they're going home for the holidays, and it's basically like, hey, try to stick within 1,600 calories, because that's not a calorie restriction. That's really not. I mean, let's be honest. If you've ever seen My 600-Pound Life and they're told, hey, you can only have 1,000 calories a day, I could not do 1,000 calories a day. I really could not. I would. I mean, I admit I love food. I love eating. There was one thing my mom never really had to teach me how to do was to eat. I knew how to do it all on my own. But this should get interesting. This really should get interesting. Because if she does take them to court, and she does take Netflix, and one of them is going to be Netflix. It's going to be Netflix. I mean, is Netflix going to be forced to remove the docuseries off its platform? It's going to get interesting. It's going to be fun. I'm hoping, because right now I don't have Netflix. We're trying to figure out. I already have enough streaming services. I don't know about you guys. We already have like 4 or 5 streaming services. Not one of them is named Netflix. But there have been a couple people in the house that are like, hey, we need to get Netflix. I want to see this and I want to see that. And okay, well, we'll see what we can do. But it should get interesting. I'm going to keep myself, keep my ear, as they say, low to the ground so that I can continue to see what happens here with Jillian Michaels. But I'm not surprised they try to make her out. Again, she's a lightning rod right now. She's outspoken. She's not going to back down. And of course, hey, what better way to make a villain than to take the person that, you know, is the most outspoken and make them the villain of the whole thing. All right. I want to thank you very much for watching today. If you haven't done already, go down, subscribe to the channel, bang the bell for notifications, bang, bang, bang the bell for notifications, so you always know when new videos are uploaded. Give me a big like on the video because it does help me with the algorithm and get this out to more and more people. Share it out to your friends, family, and neighbors. Let them know what I'm doing here, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic today. And am I right? Do you think I'm right about this, or am I totally off? No, Goose, you're way off on this, and you know, Jillian Michaels got what she deserved. We will find out. Also, if you haven't already, there are going to be a couple more videos that are going to pop up. Go ahead and click on those. See some past podcasts that I've done on some things that have gone on in the last few days. I know you're going to really, really enjoy them as I enjoy them myself. Again, thank you very much for watching. My name is Goose. This is On With the Show. I will see you on the other side.